In China, if you're over 25, you are expired in the dating market. You are called a 剩女, leftover woman.
A what?
A leftover woman. After 25, you can't be picky anymore. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend. Imagine China is Leonardo DiCaprio.
China is Leo.
The whole China is Leo.
I dare you to say this in America. Do you go up to American girls and say, you're 25, it's done?
You are already done for Leo.
They would hate that policy.
So here's a video that you might not have expected and based on a story that you might not have noticed. Here's a story from the Good Men Project, and it's titled Good Riddance. Now, this is written by, who is this? Tony Dionys PhD. I'm a PhD. Who's this? I would like to know who this person is. I don't know if it has an about. It says about. This is a philosopher, musician, educator trying to navigate the chaos of modern masculinity and male sexuality. Yeah, something makes me think that this person might have had like one of those gender reassignment surgeries that went wrong. But anyway, I won't even worry about that yet. I'm a PhD. Everybody's got a PhD now. I don't know what that's about. It's like, and they believe that this is like a huge achievement until those student loan bills start coming in. Because I'll tell you, Biden may have paused student loan repayment, but when those payments start coming in, all of a sudden that PhD don't sound like a good idea no more, does it? But anyway, it says, good riddance. Why are women from the U.S. annoyed about the passport bros? So let's go to this story. It says, passport bros are typically straight white guys from the U.S. who can't find a female partner fitting their typically conservative standards and decide to go search for one abroad. Okay, PhD, number one, you're wrong. That's not what a passport bro is. Passport bros are Black American men who are traveling abroad looking for relationships and marriage. So you're wrong. The passport Joes are white men who are going abroad looking for relationships and marriage. So there are the passport bros. There are the passport Joes. Now, there are also women who go abroad looking for marriage and relationships, and they never really actually find it because, you know, the men abroad aren't interested in American women, especially for marriage. Those are the passport hoes. Then some of these women have tried to conflate passport bros with sex trafficking, and that's got nothing to do with the passport bros. Those are called the transport bros, and they're called the transport bros because they transport hoes. So let's understand these words first of all. The passport bros are Black American men who are traveling abroad for relationships and marriage. Let's just understand these terms first of all. Okay. The people complaining about this are predominantly progressive, straight, white women who have absolutely no desire to meet those standards. Actually, the majority of the people complaining about the passport bros are old, post-wall, busted feminists who nobody wants. We've shown plenty of video footage of these women, and the reality is it's like that's exactly what they are. So it's not just progressive white women. No, it's a bunch of post-wall, dried-up feminists who nobody is interested in. Nobody. Okay, so I honestly don't get the complaint. Okay, sure, it must be frustrating to see some guys would rather take their passports and leave than try to work on themselves. Let's just stop right there. Why is it frustrating for you to see a man take his passport and his wallet and do something with it, whatever it is? You're dick policing, you are pocket policing, you're pocket watching and dick policing. That's what you're doing. Men work for their money. Men are forced in this world to work for every goddamn thing they have. You know, they have a saying in the Bible, a man don't work, a man don't eat. Now, women, they get stuff handed to them by the government. They get these Section 8 checks. They get welfare food lines. They got government cheese. They got these big bricks of cheese where you can make macaroni and cheese, and it's all greasy because the government's got that USDA cheese. Men have to work just to keep that line moving. If a man don't work, a man don't eat. It's a man who's built this infrastructure. It's a man who's laying the electric cables. It's a man who's climbing up there on these cell towers, risking being roasted by those microwaves from those 5G antennas. A man don't work, a man don't eat. So why are you worried about what a man chooses to do with his goddamn wallet? It's his wallet, not yours. You see, this is the problem right here. And then these people, do you understand? Like, there's a reason why I love covering these stupid articles, these stupid editorials. There's a reason why I like doing it. It's because I just want to keep track of and show you the number of these people, these faceless entities who are dick policing, pocket policing, hardworking men who feel that the American system has nothing for them, who feel that the laws are against them when it comes to marriage, who feel that if they make the mistake of getting married in this country, they're going to get destroyed in a divorce court eventually just because their woman up and decides to leave. So it's like it's like I'm keeping a catalog of these things. But anyway, let's get back to it. It says men who refuse to try, it says it must be frustrating to see some guys would rather take their passports and leave than try to work on themselves to become better humans who respect women as equals. It's painful to look at such embodiment of regressive social attitudes. What a stupid ass. You're a PhD. You know what kind of PhD this is? This is Moriarty at the end of Sherlock Holmes' Game of Shadows, where Sherlock checkmates his ass and takes his entire network of money because he was so arrogant and stupid as to say some stupid shit. Like could you imagine this? These are the people, now these PhDs, these are the people who've gotten a degree just so you have to call them doctor. This is not a doctor. This is not an MD. This is not a surgeon. This is somebody who spent a lot of money, wasted a lot of money. So you have to call them doctor. Let me let you in on a little secret. These people, I don't call them doctors. I refuse. When I find out that they got one of these fake-ass PhDs, and I bet you if I look this shit up, he's probably on LinkedIn because he's trying to network. That's another lie they tell you. Oh, yeah, just spend a lot of money and go to this big-name school so you can network. These people are morons in disguise. It's like, you know how you have a wolf in sheep's clothing? These people are morons. They're egotistical morons. That's what they are. They're egotistical morons. And they're desperate for you to take them seriously. They are desperate for you to have to call them something they really aren't. I've told the story a number of times. When I was in college, I was playing football. I was like a defense nose guard at the time. And I broke one of my fingers, my ring finger on my right hand. And I knew it was broken, but I had never really broken a bone before, so I didn't know what a broken bone felt like. I should have gone to the doctor a little bit earlier. But I was in college, and we were being lectured by some PhD. I'm a PhD. Kevin Samuels was the first person to call it out. Thank you for him. But anyway, my finger was broken. So when I heard the word doctor and I heard this guy was a doctor, I went up to him and I was like, hey, sir, how are you doing? Man, that was a great lecture that you gave us. Here, I need you to do me a favor. Look at my finger real quick. So I was trying to get a quickie diagnosis. And I was like, you see this finger right here? I think it hurts a little bit and, it's swollen. What do you think about it? So this finger was obviously broken. Now the guy takes a look at it. He was bewildered when he looked at me because he was like, wait, what does this dude think I am? Does he think I'm a real doctor? He must think I'm a real doctor. Well, if we look, what we look for is we look for heat and we look for pain and swollenness. He actually said this to me. And then I was looking at the guy like there was something wrong with him. And I was like, wait a minute. You're not a real doctor. When I hear the word doctor, I expect you to be able to patch me up. I expect you to be able to fix me, my body, my physical body. That's what I expect. These people are useless. This guy's sitting back, writing these worthless articles, criticizing what a man chooses to do with his money, and tries to pass it off as good riddance. Yeah, we don't need them. No, you worthless, fake doctor. Without these men, you wouldn't even have the chair that you sit on because there'd be no engineering science to build that shit. Without the men working out here, that little apartment that you live in that you probably can't afford right in this tripe, you wouldn't be able to live in there because your elevator wouldn't work. Your electricity wouldn't work. Your floors might buckle. Those are the real productive members of society. And you're upset because when they have made their money, they decide that rather than finance the welfare state that supports worthless PhDs like you, you're upset that they're taking their money going overseas and they're not sharing their money with you. That's what you're upset about. It's sad that we've come to this. There used to be a time when people with masters and PhDs, there used to be a time when these were like highly respected members of society. They're not anymore because now, shit, you can get that shit from online college, from Kentucky Fried State University now. And these people demand that you call them doctor. What a joke. So anyway, but it's not like any of it is a surprise. We knew that these guys existed. Yeah, they're the guys who are working right now outside to patch up your fucking roads and your electric infrastructure. Yeah, we knew these guys existed. You're right. We've been complaining about them for years. Why are you complaining about what a man chooses to do with his goddamn money? Why are you complaining? Mind your business, PhD. Mind your business. And now they are willing to go away. How is that a bad thing? They are basically selecting themselves out of your dating pool. No, you stupid moron. They are interjecting their genes and DNA into the future gene pool because they're having children and families with foreign wives. It's your DNA that's missing from the gene pool because no one wants you. And when your eggs have finally run out, you know how they have those gumball machines where you put 25 cents in and you turn it and you go click, 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 and then a gumball drops out? Yeah, well, that's your eggs. And eventually that last quarter goes in and eventually that last gumball drops out. And now you're out of the gene pool. You're angry because the men that you wanted to support you are leaving the gene pool and leaving you with nothing but rotten eggs. Nice and simple, right? Yeah, it's Mr. PhD, Mrs. PhD. See, I didn't need a PhD to come up with that diagnosis for you. So anyway, where is this? You don't even have to swipe left on them anymore. Because I guess sitting back using a dating app where most of the people on that dating app are AI-generated fakes, I guess that gives you a sense of moral superiority. Mr. PhD, Mrs. PhD, I guess that's what it is. It gives you a sense of genetic and moral superiority. Oh, yes, I'm saving my worthless eggs for the future gene pool. That's what it is, right? Yes. Okay. And sure, where is it? Sounds like something progressive U.S. women should celebrate. No. If I were them, I'd give those guys a good boot on their way out. Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on. First of all, these are working men using their money to finance their marriages to some deserving woman elsewhere. And you're talking about it as if you have power. You're talking about it as if you have some level of rule or dominion over these people. You don't have any. What do you mean give them a boot? Give them a boot? Who are you? Well, and by the way, these men are U.S. citizens. When they go and get their Ling Ling or their Jamila or their Maria, some of them may choose to come back. You know, and let me just put a stop to this shit right now. This whole thing about, oh yeah, don't bring them back. Listen, these are working men with money. If they choose to bring their women back here, you can shut the fuck up. See, I think that's one of the biggest problems now. Nobody openly says that enough. Your opinion is your opinion, but you have no power. Your opinion is worthless. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't worry about what these men are doing. Don't worry about what they're doing with their wallet. Don't worry what they're doing with their penis. They do whatever they want. If they choose to stay overseas, they choose to stay overseas. If they choose to bring their women back, they choose to bring their women back. Whether you feel it's a roll of roulette or roll of the dice or not, you ain't nobody. You ain't got nothing to say about this. See, the funny thing about it is with most of these men, especially these white men who live in concealed carry states, you don't hear this level of rhetoric directed at them because they'll deal with you right on the spot. They'll tell you to your face, shut the fuck up. Now, you can continue to pursue them. You can continue to persist in your criticism. But one thing I've learned from watching the 6 o'clock news is that doesn't usually end well for you. You get my drift, and you know exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying it in a roundabout way. Let's continue. Where are we? I'd give those guys a good boot on their way out, just so they don't forget how horrible all these feminists are and don't think about coming back. These are American citizens. If they leave, they have every right to come back. You're nothing. You have no power. They can leave. They can do whatever they do overseas, and they can come back. And you ain't got nothing to say about it, except to whine on these pathetic articles about what a loser you are, that you're worried about them. I really think we need more pushback in the media because there's some people out here, these people are crazy. But I'll tell you one thing, that Second Amendment was put there for a reason. It was put there to make sure that the First Amendment gets served. You got to remember, the founders put these amendments in order. The First Amendment is free speech and free expression. The Second Amendment is there to protect the First Amendment. Sometimes you got to protect your First Amendment. So anyway, despite what Hollywood has told us, oh, wait, did I skip something? It says, and you might worry that they will now inflict themselves on women in other countries. Yeah, don't worry about it. It ain't none of your goddamn business. Despite what Hollywood has told us, we in the rest of the world generally don't need an American hero to save us. If the women the passport bros yearn for won't want them, they just won't take them. Okay. And if they don't want them, all the power to them, okay. Truth is, the U.S. might be lagging behind Europe, but it enjoys greater gender equality than many other parts of the world. Guys who are quite regressive by our standards could be at least something of an improvement elsewhere. Who knows? They might even inspire men at their destination to become a bit better. Shut the fuck up, you moron. I'd like to know where these people get these piece of shit worthless degrees from. So anyway, moreover, most of the women from the countries passport bros tend to go to are anything but meek and placid wife material. I imagine that it's not long after they marry that these guys find out exactly how badass women, oh my God. You see, I think that's funny is the backhanded compliments, how desperate these people are to see you fail. That's it. See, that's another thing. It's like you're watching on the internet how there are some people, what the fuck is this? Don't like ads, become a supporter and enjoy the Good Men Project. Oh, please. Yeah, I think it's so interesting how there's all of these haters who are so sad and pathetic that they're anxious to see others fail, especially men who worked, achieved whatever they achieved, and now they're choosing what they want to do with their future. And there are people who are desperately hoping you fail. They can't come right out and say that they want you to fail, but they give you backhanded compliments and they give you like fake support if they can get away with it. You know, it's sad. It's just pathetic. Really sad, pathetic. And you're giving people degrees like this? I'd like to know what university that is so I could complain. Like a Karen, I'd like to complain to that university. Say, why are you giving these stupid motherfuckers degrees so that they can try to hold their head upright as if they have moral superiority over everybody else? Man, people like this get beat up in the street. So anyway, where are we? They will feel tricked, but let's not waste any pity on them. Stupidity should hurt. Yeah, like stupid fake-ass PhDs. Okay, where are the passport sisters? Okay, I've already covered that. The passport sisters are called the passport hoes. No, want the Christmas carol.
Don't you want to be with a woman that is worldly, educated, well-traveled, can bring something to the table, rather than somebody that has absolutely no idea about anything in life and really can't contribute anything outside of just being a woman?
The idea of being well-traveled is a giant red flag for most men. Because typically, when a woman, if I look at a woman's Instagram page and I see pictures of her on a private jet, on a yacht, in multiple different fancy locations, she's in Mykonos here, she's in Paris, she's in Dubai, she's in New York, my immediate assumption is this woman is a hoe.
Plus size women, if you ever felt insecure, if you ever felt like you was too big, if you ever felt like you was just so waha, how you doing? Good, thank you. If you ever felt like you just so fat that nobody's gonna love you, girl, come to Jamaica. They love us. Let me tell you something. They chase us around this resort. Listen, if you are over 200 pounds, bring your big ass to Jamaica. Please, I'm telling you, you definitely gonna leave with something.
Unfortunately, many of our young rebel soldiers died trying to bring this footage from the Death Star. Jamaica. From Jamaica, not the Death Star, from Jamaica. This footage, they brought it back to us so that we could form a plan against the empire, the evil empire that blames passport bros for doing the things that they themselves are doing. But fortunately, with this footage, we're able to see the truth.
I said not in, sir. He's trying to stick it in. Get a plastic bag or something. I'm serious. Get a plastic bag. If you get a plastic bag, then okay.
In fact, I have some great video footage from Jamaica to show you where the passport sisters are. Frankly, that's the one thing I find curious in the whole story. If the men in your country are all crap, why won't you also go elsewhere? Well, there's a simple reason for that. It's because they can't. First of all, men in other countries, especially wealthy men in other countries, the few that there are, wealthy men in other countries are going to get, I'd hate to say the poorest and the prettiest of their own country. But the reality is women are hypergamous and men are hypogamous. Men always date down. They never date up. Men never date up. So if you look at any of these wealthy men in any of these other countries, it doesn't matter which one it is, they're never going to marry a woman who they think is in any way above them. So if you have a billionaire in another country, he's never going to marry a female who's a billionaire who has more than he does. If you have a multimillionaire in another country and he's a man, he's never going to marry a billionaire woman. Chances are she's old. I would say the only exception might be if she's an heiress, which means that she got her money from another man. Chances are her father or grandfather, she inherited it. So the reality is there are no foreign wealthy men coming to America, of all places, looking for women. It's not happening. You don't hear about these British wealthy men coming to America looking for wives. You do not hear about that. You do not hear about these wealthy Italian men coming to America for wives. You do not hear about wealthy German men coming to America for wives. You don't hear about that. You don't hear about wealthy Japanese men going to America looking for Japanese American women. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So those women have also, some of these women who are online, they've expressed that exact same point. They're like, why is it there are no foreign men coming to America trying to get with American women? They're not even trying to hit it and quit it. Well, the simple reason is because nobody wants that. Nobody wants an American feminist. Because, and that's another thing. These divorce laws, I don't know how long it will take of a decline in marriage and a decline in childbirth for these laws, for somebody to say, you know what, these laws, the men don't like these laws and they refuse to marry these women. They're leaving these women as single moms. They pay like 18 years of child support and then they disappear. I wonder how long will it take for them to say, you know what, we have to change these laws because the men won't marry these women anymore. These men are going to the Philippines, they're going to Thailand, they're going to Vietnam, they're going to Cambodia. They get wives from Southeast Asia. They get wives from Brazil, Colombia, all these other countries, but they refuse to marry the women here. I wonder how long it's going to take for somebody to say, yeah, we've got to change these laws because the men aren't having it anymore. Because, see, that's the thing, and I've said this before, we've learned from the 1980s, the movie War Games. It said the only way to win is not to play. The men aren't playing anymore. They're not risking themselves anymore. They're not doing it. The women who have a biological imperative to have children, whether they're married or not, are going out there, getting knocked up, getting pregnant, delivering these illegal, illegitimate, well, I shouldn't say illegal, but I'll call them illegitimate bastards, like Jon Snow on Game of Thrones. Bastards, you're bastards. So the women are going out there doing that. They wish that they could quickly wave a magic wand and get rid of the stigma and stereotypes about single moms, but they can't. It's buried in our literature. Everything from the Bible onwards to all of that, what is that English literature, that French literature, even Game of Thrones, a recently written book and produced television show. Told you, if you ain't got a married father and a married mother, you're a bastard. Jon Snow, you know nothing, Jon Snow. So they wish they could get rid of these stigmatisms, but they can't. So the men refuse to marry them, and marriage rates are dropping. And that's just what it is. So I wonder how long it's going to take for somebody to look into and say, yo, listen, we got to change these laws because, you know, the men are not marrying. a lot of these women, they're saying, there's a study right now, they're saying the studies are showing these women are going to be single and childless by 2030. The majority of them will be single and childless because it's not only that the men don't want to marry them, but most of these men don't want to have children here anymore. That spells doom for a society. There's only so many illegal aliens you can let in to try to replace us. That spells absolute disaster for a society. The health of the state is live births. That's economics 101. Without live births to keep this up, there's nobody to work. So the reality is, we're going down. As a country, we're going down. Now, in fact, I shouldn't say we. I'm taking my pension and I'm getting the fuck out of here. The moment I can get out of here, I got like 10 years left and I'm out. And I'm going to be right overseas. And you're going to see me on the beach with a young wife serving me the buko juice, the coconut water, giving me the what is it called? The buko juice massages. I'm gonna be, you know how they have those women who go, you know, like on that movie Sex and the City, and they sit there and they got olives over their eyes and they got cucumbers on their face and shit, and they're on the beach and they got somebody patting them down and everything. That's going to be me. That's going to be me. That could be me right now, but I want to make as much money as I can before I finally leave. And I know you're saying good riddance. I don't know who's going to keep up your infrastructure when the men say, fuck this, we're leaving. I don't know who's going to keep up. I don't know who's going to keep your lights on, worthless PhD, because you don't know shit about electricity. You don't know the difference between a watt and an amp. But anyway, whatever. I digress. So, where are we? The Passport Sisters already know they ain't nobody coming over here for them. That's the simple fact. They said it themselves. They know it.
I just had a man slide into my DMs begging for a shot with your girl. When I asked him what he does for a living, he told me a janitor. And I said, sorry, baby, you don't make enough money for me. I'm a princess and I'm high maintenance.
Like, what is this? I keep reading various stories about dating in the U.S., and my eyes widen with each one. None of my male European friends resemble what you describe, and although I know I live in a progressive bubble, I'm pretty sure things are not as bad here at all. So I get that you're just feeling annoyed that all those dumb men would rather go across the world than become better people. And here's the thing to me. What exactly is a better person to you? When you say better people, you know what better person means to these worthless strags here in America? You know what better person is, quote unquote, a better person, a better man? You know what that means? That means that they want you to be a simp who on command opens up your wallet for whatever their desires are.
Then he's going to turn around and be like, I actually make $100,000 a year because I have certifications in welding and electric work. Listen, boo, that's great for you. But you lying now? Like, I don't like liars, first of all. Second of all, they only say janitor to avoid gold diggers, but what they're really doing is showing you that they're a liar and they're insecure. And I don't like either. So, sorry, not sorry. Goodbye. You don't get a chance with me, baby.
And then on top of that, they expect you to be tall. They expect you, they're like racist against men who are below 6 feet tall. You see, we were so worried about white supremacy, we didn't think about height supremacy. Height supremacy is a big problem now. These women say if you're not like 6 foot, at least 6 feet tall, they're not dating you at all. Now, I'm fortunate because I was 6'6" when I was like in, when I was in junior year of high school, I was already 6'6", so I ain't got to worry about that. But these women are telling you, if you ain't 6 feet tall, they ain't even dating you. There are guys right now who are getting their legs broken, and they're trying to get their bones extended because the women in their country refuse to date them. That's a goddamn shame. These men have to break their legs to try to get them extended so that they think the women will date them. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. These women expect you to be 6 feet tall. They expect you to make $200,000 to $300,000 a year so that you can finance their desires. They expect you to have They expect, basically, they're waiting next to the finish line for the winner. That's what it, I've heard somebody say that a long time ago. It might have been Kevin Samuels, I'm not even sure. But that's what they're doing. They're waiting next to the finish line for the winner. They have no respect for the guy who comes in second place. They have no respect for the guy who comes in third. Doesn't matter how long or how difficult the marathon was. They have no respect at all for those people. They're waiting for the guy who came in first. All of them are waiting for the guy who came in first. There's a biblical scripture, Isaiah 4 verse 1, I believe. 7 women shall lust after one man. It's either Isaiah, yeah, I believe it's Isaiah 4 verse 1. Yeah, that's what this is coming down to. 7 women will lust after one man. How do you think a Nick Cannon exists? How do you think you have a man who's literally impregnating women one after the next? These women all know that he's never going to marry any of them. They all know that they're going to be carrying around his kid indefinitely until that kid's 18. He's going to pay child support, yes. I think his child support is close to $5 million a year right now. But he refuses to marry any of these women. They have to know that because they know who he is. And they're just having children by this dude. How do you... 7 women will lust after one man. Even the Bible knew that this shit was all crazy. Even the Bible knew it. That's why they don't like the Bible. Why do you think these progressives hate the church so much? Why do you think they want to get rid of all this stuff? They want to get rid of this because it stands in the way of their agenda. The last domino to fall will be organized religion. But you know who I count on? I count on Islam. Islam will never allow themselves to go out like that. Islam will be around forever. Muslims will be around forever. Women will be wearing that hijab in the year 3023. Islam will never let themselves go down like that. I appreciate and I respect Islam. Judaism might be around that long. If they are, congratulations. But from what I'm seeing that's happening over there with the feminism in Israel, I don't know. Because one thing I can tell you is there ain't no feminism up in them Islamic states. They ain't tolerating this shit. They ain't tolerating it. You already know how they handle it. I ain't even got to say it. So anyway, where are we? With this stupid-ass article. Let's see. So I get that you're just feeling annoyed that all those dumb men would rather go across the world than become better people who respect women's equality and meet your standard. Whatever. Just leave them to make the mistake of their lifetime. Take your passport and come to Europe. I'm guessing that this person is in Europe. We're not coming to Europe. I'll just tell you like that. It says this post was previously published on medium.com. Really? Okay. There it is. A feminist man, a masculine feminist. There we go. I thought this was going to be a woman. Turned out that it's just a man that looks like a woman. This is what we're dealing with right here. What is this? Tony Dionys. And the reason why I wasn't sure if it was a man or a woman is because I actually know a Dr. Tony in real life, and it's actually a woman. And actually a nice person. But when I see this name Tony, I'm not sure if it's a man or a woman anymore because I actually know a female Dr. Tony. So you see this right here? This is what you're up against. This is the doctor who is angry about men, hardworking men, who've accumulated enough money to go to other countries to get wives. This is what you're up against right here. I want you to take a good long look at this. I'm a PhD. Where's Kevin Samuels with the I'm a PhD button? I'm a PhD. I'm a PhD. I'm a PhD. This is what you're up against. I want you to take a good long look at that. That's probably going to be my thumbnail. Take a good long look. That's what you're up against. These are the masculine feminists who are dick policing you. These are the masculine feminists who are worried about what's in my wallet, who are worried about what I'm doing with my wallet. This is what you're up against. Take a good long look. This is what you're up against. Take a good long look at them. You see that? That's what you're up against. I really believed it was a woman at first. I really did. Look at this. This is his picture. What does this picture show? This picture shows, what is this? It shows some men walking with their suitcases and luggage, I guess. This is set, and this is an AI-generated image. So I guess the whole point of AI images is like you're getting like artwork done for free by a computer, I guess. I don't know. It's just dumb. Anyway, where are we? Is there anything else? I guess that's it. Look at this. Tony Dionys. What is it like to be a man? More AI imagery. Yes. The mess we call desire. This is what you're up against right here, everybody. This is what you're up against. Yeah, so I don't even know what to say, man. It's amazing. You know, the passport bro energy is dying off now. I've noticed that there's fewer articles being made each week. There's less and less talk about it. On the internet, on YouTube, the manosphere has been taken over basically by just pearly things. And most of it right now is revolving around her. In some way, it's connected to her because she is the head of it now. She is driving the conversation. So, you know, the passport bros are about to enter summer 2023. Now, there are a lot of passport bros right now who are on spring vacation. They're still making videos. The energy is low right now. It's decreasing. But the reality is it's still there. So, you know, the passport bros phenomena continues. But on TikTok, I think they've kind of slowed down, you know, the rhetoric a little. These foreign women are still beckoning the passport bros. Yes, because, you know, the sad thing is these foreign women, they're having trouble marrying in their own countries. And they're waiting for passport bros. They openly tell you they are waiting for the passport bros. And all you got to do is get your passport and you can go fulfill their waits. You know, they want to trade femininity and marriage, and they want to trade that for your financial stability and your emotional stability that you bring to the table. They want to trade that. I mean, it's no wonder that they're interested in the men from these other countries. Because for one thing, most of these foreign men tend to be taller than their own men, for one. Most of these American men, if you want to talk just about America, not Europe, but most of these American men are wealthy compared to them because, you know, our money is worth so much more. Like when we go to their countries, it's like we can for $500 or something, we can get a condo for an entire month. You know, we could live in their country for $10,000 a year and live comfortably. Meanwhile, in our own country, inflation, thanks to these shitty Democrats and these stupid liberals and progressives, inflation and recession has pushed up the price of living here to the point where if you retire in another country, your pension is like a gold mine. You know, so these women are anxious to meet us because they know that we can give them a marriage and we can give them security and stability that their own men can't even possibly give them. They know that. So most men pretty much understand what it means to be a passport bro. And they understand it and they accept it. That's the important thing. They know that they're trading one thing for another, but that's exactly what they'd be doing if they were staying here. You know, I think it's so funny that most of these people are like, oh, yeah, well, foreign women aren't any different. It's like, yeah, there is a difference. now the people who've traveled know that the difference is, first of all, overseas the women are more feminine and they're actually more appreciative. No, there is a difference. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to vet these women properly. That doesn't mean that you don't have to choose carefully. Oh, absolutely you do. But when you stay here in America, you're setting yourself up for failure. And most men here know it. But there's an old saying, if people are talking about you, you must be doing something right. It's just like with Just Pearly. Just Pearly is what, 1.4 million subscribers? If people are talking about you, you must be doing something right. The mere fact that you got Tony Dionys over here, PhD, I'm a PhD, and he's wasting his time. Now, and by the way, we read this article. Did this sound like the article of somebody who's one of these self-professed PhDs? Did this article sound like that? I've seen the non-PhDs write better articles. In this article, did you hear any research? Did you hear any statistics? You get more statistics out of Kevin Samuels and Just Pearly things than you got out of this. I thought the whole point of being a PhD was that you did research on these subjects, that you were bringing up statistics, that you were doing comparative analysis. I thought that was the whole point of being a PhD. Did you hear any of that in this story, in this article, this editorial that he wrote, this editorial caricature? Did you hear any of that here? Is this the type of guy who could sit you down and explain to you the ballistic coefficients of asteroids? No, this guy doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything. He provided us with less than I do on a regular basis. I'm bringing up stats. I'm bringing up research. I explained to you the history of Christmas kicker. What did this guy do? Nothing. Kevin Samuels wasn't a PhD. He was giving you stats, figures, statistics, memorized, research. What did this guy show you? Nothing. This guy didn't give you anything. I've read some of these female feminist psychopaths. Their work was more full and more rewarding than what I just read right here. Are you kidding me? This is a PhD? Where'd you get your PhD from? McDonald's? A Happy Meal box? Where'd you get it? Anyway, I don't know. There's really no point wasting my time criticizing him or his student loan debt that he owes. There's no reason. It's a waste of time at this point. It's a moot point. It's a moot point. So that's all I had to say. I could keep on attacking him, but it's just not even worth it. I don't really care what he does. He cares what we're doing, but I don't really care what he does. I just read the article because I felt you needed to. I felt you needed to take a good long look into the eyes of your enemy. You know, that's all it was. So that's the story. Tony Dionys PhD put me to sleep, but that's it. That's all I had to say. So leave your comments and criticisms. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you think I'm wrong. Go ahead. Leave your comments, your criticisms in the comment box. I'm just going to roll back over and go to sleep.
How come you never say anything when they come up with the 25? Why don't you say that's how we do it in China?
Exactly. I wanted to do that. Let me talk about it. I think Leo is just following Chinese culture. Maybe he eat too much dim sum. He went to Mr. Chow too many times. He just have the Chinese standard. You're over 25. You're expired.
Hear me out, you guys. What's sad to me and revealing, and my brothers are actually the ones that have brought this to my attention, right? But what's sad and revealing to me is the fact that when it comes to a lot of the modern women, and I hate to do this, but I have to, in America, why is it that there are not men from all over the world, from different countries, the whole nine, coming here to pursue us on a very serious level or at all, right? I'm not even hearing about men traveling to America to hit and quit. You know what I mean?
Don't you want to be with a woman that is worldly, educated, well-traveled, can bring something to the table?
And here's an insight that a lot of people miss. The way these men are leaving their own countries to go to lower income countries to find wives, and they say that it's because the women there are more feminine and they really value femininity in a woman. They say that the women in their own countries, they're not as feminine anymore, they're masculine, and they just don't want that in a partner. But then I look around me, my neighbors, my friends, and a lot of the women here are feminine, they're beautiful, they have a soft feminine aura, they treat their men well, they cook, they clean, they do everything. And then I realize that I'm in a high-income neighborhood and their husbands, they're high earners. This just highlights how femininity has become a luxury in the US. Because it has become a luxury that a lot of men cannot afford, they go to places where femininity is the norm and not luxury. And that's okay, good for them. Bottom line is, if you're a feminine woman, you get the best pick of men in any society.
These women are poor and vulnerable.
Easier to manipulate.
Know their place.
Disadvantage.
Are in dire financial need. They want their visas. They have to be quiet. They don't know better. That's why you have to go to developing countries to try to take their women. And it sickens me. And
yes, they'll do what you say.
She is in a dire situation
because she doesn't know about much in life.
They have to bow and scrape at these men's feet. If you are a man and brag about go to underprivileged third world countries to get a wife, an obedient wife, you are a predator.
I highly recommend marrying black men. A lot of Arab and brown women are reaching out and they're trying to find black men. And I say black men are kind. They're very secure in their masculinity. They're also gentle. They're also not like I see this a lot in the Arab community because I grew up in it. Men get very shy that their women are out there, or their women work, or their woman does something. And black men are very chill and secure about it. Like, she's on her deen, she's respecting herself. I'm not going to feel shy about this. And that's a huge cultural difference that I definitely appreciate from marrying a black man. So do yourself a favor, ladies. Find yourself a black man.
Hi, how are you? My name is Nadia. What's your name?
My name is Javon.
Javon, nice to meet you. I'm new to the area, and you know, I just got a new house in the area, and I'm being hospitalic. Wanted to know my neighbors. It's in my culture, by the way. Yeah.
Well, hello everybody. I'm from Thai.
I'm from the Philippines.
We're sitting here long ass time for our passport to come in. So where are you?
We're waiting for the passport, bro.
Don't hate.
Cheers.
To be continued.